time for a breath of fresh air, and that's me.
Hey ghouls, it's Katja, and today we are going to be unboxing and reviewing Creeproduction Toralei. Without any further ado, let's get started. First, let's take a look at the box. As always, we have got Toralei herself, looking gorgeous, very excited to free her. Got her pet Sweet Fangs right up there. Down here is her name tag, says Toralei, daughter of the Werecat, with her little skullette. There is the Monster High logo there, with Freaky Just Got Fabulous, and a teeny little cassette right down there. On the side of the box, we have the full body art of Toralei and Little Sweet Fangs, and the Monster High logo at the bottom. On the back, we have the full art of Toralei here, and we have a little excerpt from her bio. I'll zoom in on that, so if you're interested in reading it, you may. And at the top of the box, there's a little quote from Toralei. You can pause if you want to read that. Now that we've taken a look at Toralei in her box, let's see if we can't free her, shall we? Now that we've got her all out of the box, let's take a closer look at her and everything she comes with, shall we? First, we have her little pet, Sweet Fangs, with a little black bandana, which is super cute. Next, let's take a look at Toralei's little purse. It is an over-the-shouldered bag with a little cat toy on the side here. It is mostly red with black paint on the front with some scratch marks on the front as well as some spikes at the top. The back is unpainted, but it does have a little pouch right here. And of course, no G1 ghoul is complete without her diary, which is always lovely to see. I will be going through all the pages of the diary, so if you'd like to read them, feel free to pause. Now that we've taken a look at everything Toralei comes with, let's take a closer look at the ghoul herself, shall we? Toralei has some ear piercings. She has 3 different ear piercings, 2 spiky studs, and 1 ring. Her face is two-tone. She has some little stripes on her cheeks. She has silver makeup with some green in there, green eyes, and some maroonish lipstick. Her hair is gelled into a helmet with some black stripes going along here, and she has a couple different shades of orange throughout. It is a short bob, which I personally adore short hair on dolls. It is done so rarely, and I'm immensely pleased whenever there is a character with short hair. She has a little orange bandana here. She has a gorgeous jacket, which has red lining here, and it has spikes at the back collar. Her top is red with black and white stripes all down, meant to look like cat scratches. She has molded on gloves, which are fingerless, and one has spikes and the other only has 1 finger area here. It does also have spikes right here, which are supposed to be painted. Mine don't really look like they are, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? She also comes with a gold belt with a silver buckle. Her pants are black, made of a stretchy material. They have several cuts throughout that show an orange fishnet fabric underneath. Now down to her shoes. They are black with a red sole and red straps here, with several spikes along the sole and the top right here. Now, since this is a Creeproduction doll, that means there is an original that this was based off of. Luckily, I do happen to have an original Toralei of my own that I will be using to compare with the Creeproduction. She is missing a few things. She doesn't have her orange bandana or her belt, but I do have her pet. and that will have to do. Now that we have both the ghouls in question, let's compare and contrast them and see what's different and what's changed. We'll start off with the pets first of all, as that's the easiest comparison. The eyes seem to be a little bit different. The material of the black bandana is also different. The left is the original, right is the Creeproduction, but overall coloring is pretty similar. The Creeproduction is ever so slightly lighter, but the sculpt itself is basically the same. Don't worry, I did not forget about the purses. The Creeproduction on the right is much more bendy than the original, and the scratch marks are a little wider than the original, but aside from that, roughly the same. As you can see, the faces of the two Toralei's here definitely have some differences. Original Toralei, it could be that she's just faded with age. She does look quite a bit lighter. The orange half of the darker orange half of the Creeproduction's face is a little bit more pronounced. The eyes seem to be a teeny bit bigger. The lip color is applied in a slightly different shape, and the lip color appears to be a little darker on the Creeproduction. I can't really compare the hair too much, as this one has been washed a little bit. I did get her used, so she's not in the greatest shape. The jackets appear to be a similar fabric. Both of them have hard plastic in the collar. The shirts are actually a teeny bit different. The original seems slightly pinker toned than the Creeproduction, which I find very interesting. I have never thought that this had a pinkish hue to it, but now that I have the two side by side, it does kind of look like it. Again, this could partially be due to age. I'm not 100% sure. The pants seem to be pretty similar. They're both a stretchy type fabric. The real difference that we come to now is in the shoes. Sure, these have slightly darker red than the Creeproduction, but that is not the difference that I'm talking about. My biggest gripe with the original Toralei, especially with the original one I had when I was younger, is her shoes were damn near impossible to take on or off. With my original Toralei I owned when I was a child, I actually cut these little straps to make it easier to switch the shoes. With the Creeproduction, the material of the shoes is much softer, so they should be significantly easier to take on and off than the originals, which is something I very much appreciate. Aesthetically though, roughly the same. The red paint on the original is definitely darker, so keep that in mind. Now that we've taken a look at both Toralei's, let's focus back on the Creeproduction at hand, and I'll go into the detail portion of this review where I will go over all the different clothing pieces that Miss Toralei comes with, shall we? Now let's take a closer look at Toralei herself without all her pieces. Apart from the earrings, I just didn't really feel like taking those out, but I feel like that's fine. She has all the standard G1 articulation, as you can see. She has some stripes going down her right arm and also her left leg, as well as on the inside, which I think is a very nice touch. She has a super bendable tail, which will never look good, no matter what you do. So if you have this doll, I hope you just accept that and know that this is what makes her a little bit quirky. She's a little special. It does remove here, so you are able to redress her a little bit easier. Her limbs are surprisingly loose, especially this leg here. It's a little wobbly, but I'm not too concerned about it. I am extremely happy to report, however, Miss Toralei has the upgraded arm pegs, just like the original 2022 Creeproductions, which Operetta doesn't have these. I have no idea if the twins have them or not. They're currently in purgatory, hoping to get them soon. But at the very least, Toralei does have the good arm pegs. So you may rest assured you will not break her arms when trying to redress her. Now, I believe that is everything for Miss Toralei's base doll. Let's take a look at her different clothing pieces. Now here are all her clothing pieces. She has a little fabric bandana, which I think is excellent. I'm so glad this isn't a plastic piece. Remember Mattel used to do a lot more fabric pieces instead of plastic pieces? Me neither, it's been a while. Her shirt here has a little slit cut in, and it also has two separate Velcro sets here to account for her tail in this gap here, which is very convenient. We've got her pants here with the fishnet fabric on the inside, which is see-through, as you can tell, and her super fun jacket with this plastic piece here. It has very cute web detailing, not that you'll really ever see it, but I appreciate the effort, and that is how we get this spiky effect here. And the jacket has a bit of a crocodile skin effect here on the fabric. Very shimmery, very cute. No lining, but we don't tend to get lining on Mattel doll clothes, so it makes sense. Now we have Toralei's accessories. She has a cute little gold belt with a silver buckle with a little skullette on it. While I don't have the original Toralei belt, I do remember how it felt, and this is definitely a much more softer and kind of weirdly slimy plastic. I don't really know why that is, just be aware of that. Now we have her shoes, which are one of my favorites. I think they suit her so well. Very simple design, but very effective. And the material is much more pliable than the original, so they are so much easier to take on and off, and you don't have to be afraid of snapping her leg off, which is excellent. Now that we've taken a look at Toralei and all her pieces, let's get her dressed again and get into my final thoughts. Here she is, all dressed up in her signature pose. Toralei's always been one of my favorites from G1. She may be a little bit catty, if you will, but I always found her to be a very fun character, and if nothing else, I love her character design, so this doll is 100% up my alley. As you can probably tell, I'm definitely a cat ghoul, so I've always been very partial towards all of the werecats of Monster High, and I hope to have all of them in my collection at some point. I think they did an excellent job with her Creeproduction. Her face is definitely visibly different, but I find that both are quite her, so I'm not really opposed to it. I think they did really well with all the materials, all the clothing pieces, they all look gorgeous. I think if Toralei is a doll that you're looking for, her Creeproduction is a great addition to any collection. Hopefully she'll soon have her besties, the twins, to join her, but Mattel Creation seems to be holding them hostage from me, so still waiting on that. Overall, I think Toralei is gorgeous, and her Creeproduction does an excellent job at capturing the likeness of the original from all the way back in 2012. I really hope Mattel continues doing these Creeproductions because they are such a great way to add the original G1 ghouls to your collection without having to deal with the dreaded glue seepage and also the secondhand market, which is also quite horrendous. Thank you ghouls so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit like, it really helps me out. And if you'd like to see more doll content, please hit subscribe. I'd love to see you around. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you ghouls in the next video.